The content of today's video is based on this published book of mine. Hello, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to another video. If you are new to this channel, my name is Frank Zhu, and I'm a college professor teaching sociology, history, and philosophy. I'm also an award-winning landscape photographer. As one of the 5 major world religions, Hinduism is quite unique in many ways. It is the oldest among the 5, with a history spanning over 4,000 years. It was born in India and is practiced only by Indians or Indian immigrants in other countries. Hinduism also differs from many other religions in that it does not have a single founder, a specific theological system, or a central religious organization. Today, Hinduism is the 3rd largest world religion after Christianity and Islam, with a following of approximately. Since its beginning, Hinduism has exerted profound influence on Indian history, society, and culture, playing a vital role in maintaining social order and stability. Hinduism had its origins from the early settlers in India. During the 2nd millennium BCE, as Harappan society declined and disappeared, groups of foreigners came into the Indian subcontinent and settled throughout the Indus Valley. Among them was a group of people who called themselves Aryans, meaning noble people. Before they developed a writing system, the early Aryans composed numerous poems and songs orally. Those literary works, mostly related with the spiritual powers, were passed on orally from one generation to another in their sacred spoken language, Sanskrit. Between about 1400 and 900 BCE, Aryan priests started compiling those poems and songs. The earliest works were the Vedas, which literally means wisdom or knowledge. According to traditions, there are 4 Vedas. The oldest is the Rig Veda. It is a collection of 1028 verses in praise of a variety of gods used in the religious rites of priests. Later, the Rig Veda was supplemented by 2 other Vedas. A 4th book was probably added about 900 BCE. These Vedas became spiritual scripts of Hinduism, though Hinduism does not have a single holy book like the Bible in Christianity. Those scripts provide important knowledge about the religion. They also provide historians with insight on early Aryan society in India. Unlike other major world religions, which were inspired by a specific person or event, Hinduism emerged as a result of a convergence of many diverse ancient religious traditions of India. Besides, it developed over a long period of time. So it is only natural that Hinduism does not claim to have a founder. For the same reason, Hinduism does not have a single deity. Consequently, it has a great flexibility and has none of the fixed doctrines of most other world religions. In its long history, a variety of Hindu beliefs have existed. However, several fundamental principles are shared across its diverse traditions. A distinctive feature of the traditional Hindu society was its caste system. It is a social stratification system which divides people into different layers or social classes in society. The word caste is not an Indian invention. It originated from the Portuguese word casta. When the Portuguese crossed the Indian Ocean and arrived in India during the exploration age, they noticed the sharp inherited distinctions between different social groups. The word caste was thus used to refer to a strictly hereditary social class. There is no equivalent to it in any Indian language. The closest in meaning is the Hindu word varna, which means color. The caste system originated from the Aryan society. When these people migrated into India in about 1500 BCE, they began to divide their society into several classes. Later on, laws were written that created 4 classes of society. The division was based on individuals' occupations and roles in society. By 1000 BCE, the caste system had been well established in the Aryan society. The system divided people into 4 classes. Number 1, priests and teachers, which is the highest caste. Number 2, rulers and warriors. Number 3, cultivators, artisans, and merchants. And number 4, servants and landless peasants. Later on, the category of the untouchables was added, referring to those people who did filthy or unpleasant jobs, such as butchering animals or handling dead bodies. Interestingly, the caste system was even applied to the animal kingdom, where the cow occupied the highest position. Until nowadays, the cow has been revered by Hindus as a sacred animal, a reason why Hindus never eat beef. The caste system was probably the most rigidly unequal and hierarchical social system in the world, practiced and observed by generation after generation. Individuals were born into family caste and had very little chance to change to another caste. Each caste was treated differently and subject to a different set of legal rules. For example, upper castes would enjoy more privileges, be rewarded more generously, and punished less severely. Only upper castes were permitted to receive formal education, and no intermarriage was allowed. Politically, such a hierarchical system played a very important role in maintaining social order in India for over 3,000 years, because individuals were conscious of their castes and willingly accepted their positions. This was in contrast with other places where states and empires maintained public order, often with force. As is true with every other religion, Hinduism also provides its believers with the hope for future. In Hinduism, the hope could be achieved by a process called reincarnation, which is another important notion of Hinduism. Reincarnation is the belief that the individual soul is reborn in a different form after death. It can occur many times to a person, after which the soul of that individual reaches its final goal in a union with the great word soul, or Brahman. According to Hinduism, because life is harsh and tough, all living beings seek to achieve this goal. Important to this process is the idea of karma, or the force of a person's actions in this life in determining his or her rebirth in the next life. What people do in this life determines what there will be in the next life. A theory that explains the differences between castes. Which caste an individual belongs to is predetermined by what he or she did in the previous life. The current status of an individual soul, then, is not simply an accident, but a result of the actions of the individual in the past. The system of reincarnation provided a religious basis for the rigid class divisions in Indian society. It justified the privileges of the upper caste people and sufferings of those on the bottom. At the same time, the concept of reincarnation also gave hope to those who were suffering. The poor, for example, could hope that if they behaved properly in this life, they might improve their conditions in the next. Political stability was thus achieved. The ultimate goal for Hindus is to achieve oneness with God. For this purpose, Hindus developed the practice of yoga, which literally means union, a method of training designed to lead to union with God. Because people are different, Hindus developed 4 types of yoga to meet different needs. They are the path of knowledge, the path of love, the path of work, and the path of meditation. The last path, meditation, is probably best known to people throughout the world nowadays as a kind of physical and mental training. In its religious sense, through this path, Hindus try to achieve oneness with God by meditation, which seeks to still the senses and rest the mind. The ultimate goal of any path is to leave behind the cycle of reincarnation and achieve the spiritual union with the divine or Brahman. Hinduism is unique in another way. Unlike other major religions, Hindu worship is not a mandatory requirement, and it is a deeply personal experience, focusing on connecting with the divine through inner spirituality and personal connection with the divine, which can be done through various means. While temples are considered as sacred places, Hindus are not required to go to temples on a regular basis. Finally, I should also point out that many people, including myself, consider Hinduism not only as a religion but also as a philosophy. First, without a rigid dogma, Hinduism permits diverse, even conflicting ideas to exist among its believers. Individuals in Hinduism have more freedom than in any other religions to connect with the divine in their own ways. For example, people in different places worship different gods. Secondly, Hinduism focuses on what it considers as universal truths, such as the idea of karma, the universal force of cause and effect, which is a theory used by philosophers in their Inquisition. Finally, Hinduism encourages deep inquiry into nature of existence and the self, a practice used in every philosophical inquiry. Well, I think that is all for today's video. But before I go, let me mention one more thing. Hinduism used to be in competition with Buddhism, which was also born in India. The 12th century saw rapid decline of Buddhism after hundreds of years of rivalry, although Buddhism spread to other parts of Asia and prospered there. As always, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.